Flow. So the best thing that I've heard on that came from the book Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath. They talk about a principle that the U.S. military started using recently called the commander's intent. And basically, after decades and decades of combat and fighting and so on, the people in charge realized that plans are essentially useless because a combat situation or any situation in the real world is just too chaotic. Plans don't work. Planning is invaluable. So what they'll do now is they'll do like hours and hours and hours, days and days and days of planning, going through all the contingencies, seeing what could happen, trying to figure out as much as possible ahead of time. And then when they actually get to it, they give people the information that they've figured out from the planning phase and then just simple directives. It's like, your goal, and they call this the commander's intent, your goal is to take over this hill. Try to lose as few people as possible and try to do it as quickly as possible. Here's some ways that could work. Here's some routes you could take, things that might happen. But when it comes to actually doing it, you've got one goal and you're gonna have to improvise because the conditions are gonna be unpredictable. Performance is basically the same thing. Practice or planning is invaluable, but you can't stick to a plan because things are just too unpredictable. And also that kind of kills the element of energy and interchange. So you want to prep, and then when you're actually on, just go with the flow. Yeah, so basically the version of the commander's intent that applies to communication and education is what's your message, what's your core message. James Carville running the campaign for Bill Clinton is kind of infamous. He narrowed all of the talking points down to it's about the economy, stupid, and wrote that on a big whiteboard, and it was kind of became an infamous example because it was so targeted, so specific, and so simple, and it was in Clinton's advantage. So that was his message. It's the economy, it's the economy, it's the economy. And he just kept bringing things back to that. So when you're communicating, it's about your message. What are you trying to tell people? If they only remember one thing, what's that one thing? That's basically the version of the commander's intent for communication.